Welcome to About Mansfield. It is your audio newspaper. I'm Steve Casillo, broadcasting from the Somark Studios, along with the About Mansfield news team. Colleen Daniels, she's out there in Studio West. This is the October 30th, 2024, 246th edition. Coming up, it's Mansfield News, Talk, and Information.
And a little later in the episode, you will have a chance to win a $25 gift card to a Mansfield restaurant of your choice with our Mansfield Trivia Question, courtesy of Joe Jenkins Insurance.
Let's take a look at the stories we're covering this week.
Early voting continues in Mansfield.
School board visits the city council. We'll talk about it in a moment with the mayor.
Mansfield ISD experiences internet interruption.
And in sports, it's a recap of Friday Night Lights and what's in store for this weekend.
And in the talk segment, Steve talks with local author Pete Hermann. We are Mansfield's only source for news, talk, and information. This is About Mansfield.
Hey there, it's Luke from Cool Hand Electric. Are you tired of dealing with plugs or lights that just won't cooperate? Well, don't fret. Give us a call. Worried about power outages or surges damaging your precious electronics? We've got you covered. Whether it's a whole house generator or surge protection, our solution-oriented Cool Hands are ready to tailor the perfect option that suits your needs and budget. At Cool Hand Electric, excellence is still cool.
Cool Hand, Cool Hand, Cool Hand, where excellence is still cool.
Navigating the ever-changing real estate market can be exhausting. At the Hornburg Real Estate Group at One West, our team of experts help make the most of your home selling goals. From the ability to bring buyers multiple cash offers, offer different ways to sell your home, and even offer pay-at-close vendors, we help you get top dollar. We have a robust marketing strategy to ensure you always have options to get your home sold in the way that makes the most sense for you. Each agent at the Hornburg Real Estate Group has been expertly trained and has years of experience behind them. Find out why our clients consistently rate us 5 stars year after year. Call or text us at 817-264-7087. Again, that's 817-264-7087. Or visit us online at homesbyhrg.com.
Hi, I'm Vandella Menifee, professional volunteer. You're listening to About Mansfield.
Welcome back to About Mansfield. This portion of the news is brought to you by the Grandview Event Center in Mansfield.
Week 2 of early voting started Monday across Texas, including here in Mansfield. Last week saw a record turnout with over 367,000 ballots cast in Tarrant County during the first 7 days. Friday marked the busiest day, with nearly 60,000 people voting, the highest single-day total in the county's early voting history. Tarrant County has 51 early voting locations, including 2 in Mansfield, the Tarrant County Sub-Courthouse at 1100 East Broad Street, and Vernon Newsom Stadium at 3700 East Broad Street. Early voting centers are open Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. this week, with the same hours on Election Day, Tuesday, November 5th, where there will be close to 350 voting centers from which to choose. Incidentally, Trinity Metro will offer free rides for voting on all local services on Election Day. Customers who are riding to or from the polls are eligible for free rides on Trinity Metro buses, Trinity Metro on-demand rideshare services, and Trinity Metro TexRail. Free rides also include Trinity Railway Express stations in Tarrant County, including Centerport. To obtain a free ride, customers should notify their driver or train conductor that they are traveling to or from a voting location. Want to know what's on the ballot? A sample ballot is available at votetexas.com.
The Mansfield City Council held a regularly scheduled meeting on Monday evening. The following opinions of those of Michael Evans may not necessarily reflect those of the Mansfield City Council, as we do every other Tuesday morning. Welcome. Top of the morning, Michael Evans.
Top of the morning to you, Steve. Good to be here today, buddy.
Yes, feels like fall out there today.
You know, it does, and I thought I felt a little rain on my little brow.
I did have to turn on the windshield wipers once on the way.
Isn't that something?
Yeah, on my 7-minute commute.
Maybe the drought's over.
We'll see. Let's talk about Monday night. You started with a work session.
We did. In the work session, we reviewed Chapter 90 of the Animal Control Ordinance. We're drafting a comprehensive update that includes housekeeping for our staff and processes, also additions to the humane trapping and treatment of animals, dogs and cats and ducks and chickens. So we did all of that, and I would just ask people to just go check that out. It's amazing how exciting that could be sometimes.
And then you got into the regular session there at 6:00. Started with a proclamation paying homage to my friends of subluxation.
You know what? I tell you what. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we did that.
Yeah.
All right. We proclaimed October 24th. You caught me off guard with that one, Steve. We proclaimed October 2024 as National Chiropractic Health Month. And we want to thank all of our local practitioners because I tell you what, they help to keep us good and in shape. There's nothing like a little cricks and cracks here every now and then just to get you in alignment, sir. So that was the fun part of the meeting. And also, along that vein,
sure.
City Council celebrated the graduation of our My Mansfield University. And you won't believe it, but this is class number 5.
Wow.
Yeah, so this is what happens to this. And I ask all of your listeners to sign up and be a part of this. Over the past 10 weeks, these community members have gotten a hands-on look really at how the city operates, and they are leaving as better informed citizens and engaged residents. So if you're interested in participating, just visit our website. We take applications in the summer for next fall's classes. But if you really want to know the nuts and bolts of the city, My Mansfield University is it, my friend.
I got to take a few seconds and endorse that as well. I am a graduate of class number 1.
All right.
And my Mansfield University with an M. Just do a search on the city website, and it's such a great way to get to know the inner workings of the city of Mansfield.
You better know it.
You had some visitors from the school board and MISD, and tell us all about it.
Yeah, I am a school board alumni.
Yeah.
And anyway, the Mansfield Independent School District Board of Trustees and Superintendent Dr. Kimberly Cantu, they joined us so that we could recognize them on their latest achievements. If you haven't heard, Steve, I don't know if you heard this, though, but the Texas Association of School Boards gave the MISD Board of Trustees its School Board Award for Region 11 and the great things that our board does. And
there's more.
There is more. We recognize Dr. Kimberly Cantu as the Region 11, wait for it, Superintendent of the Year. Applause line. Yes, she is an outstanding administrator and executive officer, and we are so proud of the great work that Dr. Kimberly Cantu does for our community. Let me tell you what we know. We know that when our school district does well, that the entire city does well, and really the region, because they're not just in Mansfield, but MISD is also in Arlington and Grand Prairie, other cities. But listen, we love the great work that Dr. Cantu and that team is doing. So we continue to congratulate them, and they received that award from Region 11, who recognized it as well.
Let's get into the consent agenda. I'm seeing hotels, conference centers, memorials, all kinds of good stuff.
Oh, yes, you are.
Do it.
So in regard to the consent agenda, we approved 10 consent agenda items. Here are the sexy ones. A $5.6 million construction contract to Mills Development and construction for Phase 1, improvements to Geyer Commons. I wanted to get that out. I got it out. Geyer Commons. And let me tell you, that's going to just really not only give a facelift, but you're talking about give a brand new meaning to Geyer Field and that entire historic area of what used to be the old school district site. I cannot wait to get started on this project. It's going to create community gathering points in the area of our city, and it's going to be fantastic. Now, we also approved a zoning change to build a mixed-use development near the intersection of North Walnut Creek and East Broad Street. We approved a resolution to negotiate a master development agreement to bring 2 hotels, not just one, sir, 2 hotels and a conference center to our upcoming Staybolt Street Entertainment District. And these will be a great addition to our already announced multi-sport stadium and High Five Entertainment. Can you believe it? We're going to get a conference center in Mansfield, Steve. It's coming, brother.
Our little town is growing.
Our little town is growing. Now, we also received an update on the Veterans Memorial, and this project will break ground soon at Julian Field Park. And it's going to be a great way to recognize and reflect on the sacrifices of our veterans, past, present, and future. We are finally breaking ground. That's going to be on November the 4th, and that's taking place at 11 a.m. It's going to be a short ceremony, but listen, we're breaking ground finally on a Veterans Memorial Park in Mansfield, Texas.
And again, that's on November 4th?
You know, yes, that in itself is a national holiday. That is my 58th birthday. Or did I say that? Okay, yes. It's a great day.
You concluded with upcoming events.
Yeah, we did. We're having fun this morning, aren't we? We did. We got a preview at some of our upcoming events, sir. And of course, the biggest one of them all is the annual Veterans Day Parade and Salute on November the 9th. We want people just to come out and let's have a great time as we salute our veterans who allow us to live in this great country of ours. And also there's a traveling veterans memorial, Vietnam Veterans Memorial,
Sure.
that we would like for people to see, take part in. So all that's happening, sir. And we're looking forward to a great time this month.
I got to ask, because we're in the season, have you done your civic duty?
You better know it. I voted early, and thank you for asking. Listen, I'm just encouraging everybody to get out there and vote. Your vote is your voice.
That's it. We do this every other Tuesday. It's called A Moment with the Mayor. Mr. Mayor, happy Halloween to you and yours, and go forth.
You know what? We'll go forth and prosper, and you have a great time as well.
Mansfield ISD's internet service was impacted by a fiber cut Monday afternoon. The district service is provided through the Region Service Center. While the service was down, the MISD Technology Department rerouted service through another provider, but it couldn't sustain the entire district. As a result, parents were made aware that services such as Skyward and ClassLink were offline because they operate on systems that are external to the district. Field technicians spent most of Monday looking for the cause of the fiber cut and worked to restore service. The district's internet service was completely restored on Tuesday morning. The school district was emphatic that the situation arose out of an issue with their internet provider and was not related to a cyber attack.
What's the latest in football? We'll talk about it because sports is next.
Are you ready to create unforgettable memories? Picture this: an enchanting event venue nestled amidst breathtaking landscapes with panoramic views right here in Mansfield. The Grandview Event Center is the perfect setting to bring your vision to life. From intimate gatherings to large-scale extravaganzas, the Grandview has flexible spaces to accommodate any occasion, be it a wedding reception, corporate Christmas party, or community gathering. Book your next unforgettable experience at thegrandviewmansfield.com. That's thegrandviewmansfield.com. The Grandview Event Center, where memories are made and dreams become reality. Book your event today.
I'm Philip Washington, Chief Investment Officer of Stonehill Wealth Management and host of the Wealth Building Made Simple podcast. First book I read in college was Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and it changed my life. And since then, I've read tons and tons of books on money. And what I've done is taken those lessons, simplified them, and I talk about those lessons on my podcast, Wealth Building Made Simple. So come hang out with us. We're on every major platform, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and on YouTube, Wealth Building Made Simple.
At Methodist Mansfield Medical Center, we've been caring for our home team for over 15 years. Today, you'll find award-winning physicians on the medical staff, advanced neurosurgery, a Level 3 trauma center, critical care for newborns, and comprehensive orthopedic care. Methodist Mansfield, delivering the care our friends, neighbors, and home team depend on. That's community, and why so many people trust Methodist.
In sports, it was not a great weekend for the Mansfield ISD win column as the Timberview Wolves were the lone team in the district to walk away with a victory. And a big win it was as the Wolves showed no mercy to Grapevine, 55-10. The Wolves currently stand in fourth place in the district with a 4-3 record. Just one game remains on the schedule. Elsewhere in the district, Summit stands at 4-4 after a loss to Colleyville Heritage. Legacy moves to 2-7 following a defeat by Crowley, while Lakeridge now sits at 1-7. Your Mansfield Tigers had a bye week last week. Looking ahead, Summit will host Everman at Newsom Stadium Thursday night for their Halloween and Senior Night celebrations. Friday night matchups include Legacy and Lakeridge face off at Newsom in the district's only home game. On the road, Timberview will take on the Colony, and your Mansfield Tigers will travel to North Crowley. All games per usual. Kickoff at 7 p.m. Let's take a look at the highs and lows from around the state. The highest scoring game, Houston Westbury Christian, 111 versus Logos Prep, 90. The lowest scoring game in the state, Austin Regents downed Arlington Grace Prep, 7-5. And the biggest goose egg in the state goes to Freer. Refugio enjoyed the 90-minute bus ride home after routing Freer 95-0. If you have a comment about the show, the news, whatever's on your mind locally, the good, the bad, the ugly, you know it, you can reach us by voicemail at 817-435-2938. Think of it as your audio letter to the editor. That voicemail again, 817-435-2938. By the way, if you listen to the About Mansfield podcast on Apple Podcasts, would you mind taking a few seconds to leave us a 5-star review? The higher our ranking, the easier it will be for our future listeners to find the podcast. We appreciate it, and thank you. This coming Saturday, November 2nd, is Dia de los Muertos, a Mexican holiday dedicated to honor and remember loved ones who have passed away, rooted in ancient Aztec traditions and Catholic influences. It's believed that during these days, the spirits of the deceased return to visit the living. Families create colorful altars, or ofrendas, decorated with marigolds, candles, food, photos, drink, and personal mementos. Sugar skulls, skeleton figures, and lively parades embody the joyful celebration of life and death, emphasizing remembrance rather than mourning. The best way for me to describe Dia de los Muertos to you is to recommend watching the 2014 animated film, The Book of Life. It's funny, it's sad, it's magical, and it's educational. It's been a staple in our home for over 10 years. Are you ready? Here it comes.
Say, kids, what time is it? What time is it? What time is it?
But it must have been the wrong time.
This. Does everybody really know what time it is? Oh, the times they are a-changin', just ticking away. We're gonna rock around the clock tonight.
It's just our annual reminder that daylight saving time comes to an end Sunday morning, so let's all get up at 2 in the morning and change our clocks back by 1 hour, giving us that extra 1 hour of sleep that all of us need so badly.
Coming up after the break, we turn the page to the features section.
Art, and more art. We'll talk about it in the Cultural Arts Calendar.
I'm Angel Biasatti, and today I'm excited to have a special guest, President of the Methodist Mansfield Auxiliary, to talk about an exciting event to kick off your holiday season in style. And you'll hear more with Methodist Mansfield News to Know.
Have you ever thought about investing in real estate? I'm Angela Hornburg, and we'll talk about how to get started in the Mansfield Real Estate Update.
In this week's Cocktail of the Week, we're diving into a drink that's hotter than a witch's cauldron and more comforting than your favorite pair of fuzzy socks.
We are Mansfield's only source for news, talk, and information. I'm Colleen Daniel. and this is About Mansfield.
This portion of the news was brought to you by the Grandview Event Center in Mansfield.
Hey there, it's Luke from Cool Hand Electric. Are you tired of dealing with plugs or lights that just won't cooperate? Well, don't fret. Give us a call. Worried about power outages or surges damaging your precious electronics? We've got you covered. Whether it's a whole house generator or surge protection, our solution-oriented Cool Hands are ready to tailor the perfect option that suits your needs and budget. At Cool Hand Electric, excellence is still cool.
Cool hand, cool hand, cool hand, where excellence is still cool.
Hey, it's Steve Casillo, and are you ready to make your voice heard? Want to bring out your ideas to life through captivating conversations and engaging visuals? Look no further than Podcast Mansfield Recording Studio, your one-stop destination for award-winning audio and video podcast recording. Equipped with cutting-edge microphones, crystal clear audio recording, and high-definition cameras, we're here to turn your ideas into engrossing content. But it's not just about the equipment. We're dedicated to bringing out the best in your content. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, we're here to elevate your podcasting game. We'll even help you with intro music, transitions, voiceover, and that professional polish that sets your podcast apart. So whether you're into interviews, storytelling, or simply sharing your expertise, Podcast Mansfield can help bring your podcasting dreams to life. Visit podcastmansfield.com. Podcast Mansfield, where creating your podcast masterpiece has never been easier.
Congratulations to Nick Sherman, who knew that Chris Burkett's title was Assistant City Manager when he retired in 2016. When we come back, this week's trivia question. I'm Colleen Daniel, and this is About Mansfield.
Hi, this is Joe Jenkins with Joe Jenkins Farmers Insurance, specializing in auto, home, commercial, and life insurance. I was born and raised here in Mansfield, Texas. We're active in the community, and Mansfield's a town we really care about. Our office has over 30 years' experience in the insurance industry, and we're passionate about what we do and about customer service. For a free quote, please visit our website at joejenkinsinsurance.com or give us a call at 817-472-6058. Once again, that website is joejenkinsinsurance.com.
It is time right now for the highly coveted, wildly popular About Mansfield trivia question. If you are the first person to email the correct answer to trivia@aboutmansfield.com, you will receive a $25 gift card to a Mansfield restaurant of your choice. It's brought to you by Joe Jenkins Insurance, whether you're looking for homeowners, auto, commercial, or any other type of insurance. Joe has helped Mansfield area residents understand the insurance coverage that best fit their needs since 2010. You can find him on the internet at joejenkinsinsurance.com. I've mentioned this before. I'll mention it again. Not everybody wins on a Wednesday. So if you're listening on Thursday, Friday, or whenever, give it a shot. You may be taking home a $25 restaurant gift card. Colleen, it's your turn.
Well, Steve, before its demise in 2019, the Mansfield News-Mirror was the oldest newspaper in Tarrant County, having launched its initial publication 141 years ago in 1883. This week's trivia question is, what was the News-Mirror's original name? Email your answer to trivia@aboutmansfield.com. Again, what was the local newspaper called before its name was changed to the Mansfield News-Mirror? Good luck, and thanks to Joe Jenkins Insurance for the gift card.
Hi, I'm Karen Marcucci, and you're listening to About Mansfield.
Welcome back to About Mansfield, your audio newspaper. Let's open up the features section.
It is November. It is the first week of November, and that means it's time for the cultural calendar as we bring in Tim Roberts, tourism manager for the city of Mansfield. Welcome back to About Mansfield.
Great to be back. Wow, end of the year. It's here. Like 2024, we're wrapping it up. That is absolutely crazy.
That's right. Everybody's got their pumpkins on their porch, and we get into the November cultural arts calendar. I love art, and my wife loves art, and this is a great way to start.
And we've got a great, really diverse range of things going on at the theater and around town. Starting off November 2nd, we got our monthly Intro to Pocket Sketching class at the Far Best Theater. That's at 10 a.m. You just kind of learn on the fly of how to do art on the fly. And then something really cool that's a art thing happening not at the Far Best Theater, happening over at the City Hall Rotunda. In honor of Veterans Day. We're having a Veterans Day art exhibit from November 4th through 15th. So that'll be open when City Hall's open, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. thereabouts, and on Monday through Friday, of course.
Yeah.
And you can swing by. Half of the art will have been done by MISD students honoring veterans, and the other half of the art will be done by a collection of local veterans.
That's pretty cool. And that's almost a couple of weeks.
Yes, it's a full 11 days open.
Okay.
Now, it'll also be open during the Veterans Day Parade, which I'll get to in a moment, of course. But yeah, so you can come swing by anytime and check out the artwork at City Hall Rotunda.
Speaking of art, there's more art at the Far Best Theater.
November 9th, our monthly art therapy workshop headed up by Heidi Turno. This is another great opportunity for anyone, but especially those you can get continuing credits for counseling degrees, counseling accreditation through this monthly program at 9 a.m. And then an hour later, a big event, wouldn't necessarily say it's art, but it's our big city event of the month, the Mansfield Veterans Day Parade at 10 a.m. Now, we do have a new route this year. It'll be going down Broad Street, leaving kind of from the R.L. Anderson area, coming down, looping around Broad Street, and the big patriotic salute we always have. So there's the art, lots of singing, lots of musical performances will be in front of City Hall, out front of there. And that's November 9th at 10 a.m. Parade starts at 10 a.m. The first flyover actually be at 7:30 a.m. So if you're in that area and you hear a nice vintage plane going over, that's us.
All right.
And a road closure will begin around 9 a.m. Just so people are aware, the Broad Street road closure will begin right around 9 a.m. and will reopen as soon as the parade is done and dissipated.
One of my favorite nights of the month is the open mic night, and tell us about that.
Yeah, obviously, Mike G leading the way over there. This continued to grow throughout really the last 18 months. Started so small, just getting that awareness. Mike G is a great host, gets folks comfortable. I always say that you can just go on stage and it's like you're performing in front of family. So if you've never performed before, if you're uncomfortable with it, you can get up there and showcase your talent. And that's November 14th at 7:30 p.m. over at the Far Best Theater.
And performing on the Far Best Theater stage, which I've had the pleasure of doing 3 or 4 times, it's just a treat that you've got a room full of hopefully appreciative fans and people out there, and the spotlight is on you. It's a very cool experience. And speaking of the Far Best, it's back to magic.
Yeah, Will Baffle returns for the Show of Wonders again. Now, he had his big show a couple of weeks ago for Halloween. That was absolutely amazing. He's back for the Show of Wonders. That's the afternoon show on November 17th at 3 p.m. Great for families. The consummate stage magician always puts on a great show, leaves the kids laughing. And I talked with him last month. He said the funny thing is the kids leave laughing and it's the parents who are asking, wait, how did you actually do that? The kids just buy it. The kids just go, oh, sure, yeah, you made that stuff disappear. And the parents are like, wait a second, that was a really good trick. I have no idea how you did that. I thought it would just be basic stuff. So come check him out November 17th at 3 p.m.
Rounding out the month at the Far Best Theater, Stevie Dawn Carter and her Fleetwood Project. It's all yours.
Presents Head Over Heels, classic kind of jukebox musical. If you roll in, you're probably going to recognize the song and want to sing along. That's November 29th into December through December 8th. So they have those first 2 weekends rolling right out of Thanksgiving and then that first weekend of December as well. So you get another reminder in the Culture Arts calendar next month that's going on. So the Fleetwood Project presents Head Over Heels.
The Farmers Market's coming to a close soon. We should tell people about that.
Yep. One of our great partners over at 703 East Broad Street, kind of the Mansfield Mission area parking lot. They are been going every Saturday, 8 a.m. to noon, whether it was 100 degrees or, 90 degrees, because it hasn't gotten any lower than 90 degrees. But hopefully there's some great fall afternoons coming up. And their last show, their last market of the year is November 18th out there. Now, we'll have another partnership with them coming up in December, but that's just a one-time thing. But if you want to go out, hit up the farmers market one last time before it heads away until spring. Hit them up Saturday, 8 a.m. to noon at 703 East Broad.
We started with art. We're ending with art.
Yeah, and this is something that is brand new that we've just launched. We've had our mobile visitor center for 5 years now. We've always brought it out to events and tournaments, and it's been a place just to hand out swag and information about Mansfield. Well, we decided to upgrade it, and we gutted the inside, and it is now a mobile art truck. Still the mobile visitor center, but it is an art truck inside. And we've been taking it around to events across Mansfield, at Haunt the Block, some trunk or treats, some pop-ups at Town Park, and people just absolutely love it. The current piece is the Fluxum experience.
Nice.
Real weird, real quirky, and we'll be giving it a new exhibit in time for hometown holidays, but you still have a couple of chances coming up to see the Fluxum experience inside the mobile art truck, including November 5th, the morning of November 5th. That's a Wednesday out front of Flying Squirrel Coffee in historic downtown. And I don't want to guarantee anything, but if you're there on time, you might just get a nice little coupon from us to knock a little bit off your cup of coffee Wednesday morning. So come out, check out the mobile art truck, watch for us at all our events coming up. Just a way to make sure that every event has something to do with cultural arts.
The kinder, gentler city of Mansfield.
Yeah, and just that way, there's always something to see. You know, whether you're out at the park, you're getting surprised by something, or we want every event to have something to do with cultural arts. So even if it's something that wouldn't necessarily be in that realm, well, now we've got an art truck out there. Now we've got an exhibit at every event you go to, and a great chance for local artists to create something new, wild, wacky, innovative, every 8 to 12 weeks, pretty much.
That is Tim Roberts. That is the Mansfield Cultural Arts calendar. And Tim, have a great month of November. We'll see you with the calendar for December.
It's here. Hometown holidays right around the corner.
Angel Biasatti is here to kick off your holiday season in style in Methodist Mansfield News to Know. Angel?
Today I'm excited to have a special guest, Mike Koenig, president of the Methodist Mansfield Auxiliary, with us today. We're thrilled to talk about an exciting event to kick off your holiday season in style, Holidays Christmas Market. Welcome, Mike.
Thank you, Angel. Please mark your calendars for Saturday, November 9th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Methodist Mansfield Medical Center. This festive market is a perfect place to get your holiday shopping done, and while supporting the hospital, enjoy a day filled with community spirit.
What can attendees expect at the Holidays Christmas Market this year, Mike?
Picture this, Angel. 36 local vendors. These are local artisans showcasing unique handmade crafts, delicious holiday treats, and seasonal goodies that are perfect for gift giving or for treating yourself. There will be something for everyone, including jewelry, home decor, and festive decorations. Plus, it's a great opportunity to support local businesses and artists in our community while supporting the hospital. We will also be selling raffle tickets for several items, including a gift card basket with over $4,000 in gift cards and coupons, and a Blackstone griddle, just to mention a few of the items for raffle. But that's not all. The market will feature holiday music as well, so bring the whole family to enjoy a day filled with fun, laughter, and holiday cheer.
Thank you, Mike, for sharing that great information with us. Remember, Holidays Christmas Market takes place on Saturday, November 9th at the hospital from 9 to 4. So don't miss out on this chance to get the holiday spirit and find those special gifts for your loved ones. That's Methodist Mansfield News to Know. I'm Angel Biasatti, reporting for the About Mansfield podcast.
Angela Hornburg is here to address how to get started in investing in real estate in the Mansfield Real Estate Market Update. Angela?
Homeownership is oftentimes the biggest investment Americans make and is largely how most middle-class Americans are able to create wealth and opportunity for their families. Owning a home is also a great way to get into real estate investing. How does owning a home help you get into real estate investing? Great question. Owning a home means that you are gaining money year over year through appreciation. So without having to earn more at your job, the economy is depositing money into a bank account that you cannot access until you sell or refinance your home. If you choose to refinance your home, you can pull cash out of your home's value when you refinance. This is known as a cash out refi. When you pull cash out of your home, you can use that to put down on a new purchase, either for an investment or for a new house, while you keep your current home and turn it into a rental. Another way that you can get started with purchasing an investment home is to choose a home that would be considered a secondary home. Think about a lakefront property or perhaps a property that's near hiking trails or destinations. When you purchase a secondary home, you can purchase it for 10% down. And then when you're not using it, you can rent it out on a short-term basis with programs like Airbnb and VRBO. To purchase an investment property with the full intention of leasing it out from the start, you would be looking to put down 20 to 25% of the purchase price. This is oftentimes what prevents people from purchasing an investment home, but rather they choose to keep their old house and then buy a new one for themselves. Because as an owner-occupant, you can purchase a home with as little as 3.5% to 5% down instead of the 20 to 25% it takes to buy an investment home. Another great way to get into real estate investing is for the first-time home buyers or buyers who do not yet have an FHA loan. You can purchase a full duplex, meaning 2 sides, when you intend to live in one side and rent out the other. The benefit of an FHA loan is that it only requires 3.5% as a down payment. That means you could put down very little money to purchase your new home, rent out one side, which would offset your mortgage payment, and in the future, when you choose to move into a new home, you now have 2 units that can be rented out. This is a life and house hack that I want all people to know about. It's such a great way to get started with investing. Whether you're pulling cash out for a down payment, buying a secondary home, or looking at purchasing multifamily options, I would highly recommend meeting with real estate experts who specialize in investing and are also investors themselves to help guide you with the ins and outs. Reporting for the About Mansfield podcast, I am Angela Hornburg, broker with One West Real Estate.
Shaken or stirred, you know it's going to be good as Brian Certain serves up an elementary favorite with a grown-up twist in the cocktail of the week. Brian?
This week's cocktail of the week is the spiked hot chocolate. Picture this. You just come in from a brisk autumn walk, leaves crunching underfoot, your cheeks rosy from the chill, and you're craving something warm, something indulgent, something that'll put a little pep in your step. Enter the star of our show, the spiked hot chocolate. It's like your favorite sweater and your secret flask had a delicious warming baby. Now, before we dive into the chocolatey, boozy details, let's take a moment to appreciate the genius of this concoction. It's as if hot chocolate decided to rebel against its wholesome image, sneak out after curfew, and come back with a tattoo and maybe a slight hangover. It's the kind of drink that makes you want to build a pillow fort and put on your favorite movie and forget about adulting for a while. The concept of alcohol to hot chocolate isn't new. In fact, it's probably as old as hot chocolate itself. The Aztecs, who gave us chocolate, were known to add a little fermented agave juice to their cocoa. But our modern version, this is the result of some generous of cold humans looking for ways to warm up and loosen simultaneously. Now, let's break down what you need to create this cup of liquid courage. But don't worry, I always give out the instructions and ingredients and post them on bourbongospel.com. Ingredients of the week. You need 2 cups of whole milk. You need a 1/4 cup of unsweetened cocoa powder. You need a 1/4 cup of sugar, 1/4 cup of dark chocolate chips, 1/4 of a teaspoon of vanilla extract, a pinch of salt, 2 ounces of bourbon or your favorite spirit, rum, brandy, peppermint schnapps. Bourbon's my favorite. Then you're going to need some whipped cream and chocolate shavings for garnish. Now, let's walk through the process of creating this cozy mug of joy. In a saucepan over medium heat, whisk together the milk, the cocoa powder, the sugar, the salt until the cocoa and sugar have dissolved. Add the chocolate chips and the vanilla extract, stirring until the chocolate has melted and the mixture is smooth. Now remove from heat and stir in your chosen spirit. Remember, this is supposed to be fun, not a challenge to your liver's processing power. Pour into mugs and top with a generous dollop of whipped cream and sprinkles of chocolate shavings. Take a moment to inhale the heavenly aroma, then sip and let the warmth spread from your toes to your nose. Now, why is this the perfect finale for our fall cocktail month? Well, first, it embodies the cozy essence of autumn. As the days get shorter and the nights get colder, there's nothing quite like wrapping your hands around a warm mug of liquid comfort. The rich, creamy texture is perfect for those chilly evenings when you want something that feels like a hug from the inside out. It's like you're wearing a cashmere sweater, but for your taste buds. Flavor-wise, it's an ultimate indulgence. The deep, complex notes of the chocolate pair beautifully with the warm caramel and the vanilla notes of the bourbon, or whatever spirit you chose. It's a sophisticated twist on a childhood favorite that proves growing up doesn't have to mean giving up the good stuff. But most importantly, it's versatile. It's perfect for sipping while watching the leaves fall, ideal for warming up after a hayride, or it's just the thing to serve at your adult Halloween party. It's the Swiss Army knife of fall beverages, appropriate for almost any autumn occasion. So there you have it, folks, the spiked hot chocolate. It's proof that sometimes the best things in life are a little naughty, a little nice, and come with a healthy dose of whipped cream on top. And as we wrap up our fall cocktail month, I hope these autumn libations have inspired you to get creative with your own seasonal sips. But don't put away those shakers yet, because next month we're diving into a cornucopia of Thanksgiving-themed cocktails that'll have you giving thanks to the invention of the cocktail shaker. Get ready to impress your relatives, or maybe just tolerate them better, with drinks that will capture the essence of everyone's favorite food coma-inducing holiday. We'll be exploring everything from cranberry-infused martinis to pumpkin pie shooters, and maybe even a little turkey and stuffing-inspired savory cocktail for the truly adventurous. So tune in next time as we kick off our Thanksgiving cocktail series. And until then, happy mixing, and remember to enjoy responsibly. And remember, if the Pilgrims had access to these cocktails, they might never have left that first Thanksgiving table. As always, I'm open to hear your take and input. You can reach me at brian@bourbongospel.com. And until next week, as Mark Twain said, too much of anything is bad, but too much whiskey is barely enough. Reporting for the About Mansfield podcast, I'm Brian Certain.
We're back in 60 seconds with Steve's in-studio interview with local author Pete Hermann.
Imagine a city where innovation knows no bounds, where dreams take flight, and the future unfolds before your very eyes. Welcome to Mansfield, a beacon of growth and a testament to vision. In the heart of Mansfield, a remarkable transformation is underway. But it's not just about the physical landscape. It's about the spirit that drives us forward. A spirit of collaboration that bridges cultures, a spirit of entrepreneurship that fuels prosperity, and a spirit of community that binds us as one. Mansfield is more than just a place. It's a canvas where diversity paints the picture of progress. From art festivals that ignite creativity to tech hubs that redefine boundaries, this city celebrates every voice, every passion. Mansfield, where growth knows no limits and the vision is limitless. Brought to you by the unstoppable spirit of the Mansfield Economic Development Corporation.
Hi, I'm Brian McFadden, the Executive Director for Mansfield Mission Center, and you're listening to About Mansfield.
Welcome back to another segment of About Mansfield. I'm Steve Casillo as we make the transition from news to talk. And in the studio today, I love bringing in local Mansfield-based authors. And today is no different. We welcome Pete Hermann. Welcome to About Mansfield.
Thank you. Thank you.
You've written a couple of books, and as we've talked about just prior to the interview, you're working on another book. What prompted you to write your first book? And
my whole life, I have crazy thoughts going through my head all the time. I mean, just wild things that I may not look at, but I crack myself up. I'm laughing inside. I'm laughing all the time at all the inane things we all do. And I've been retired now for about 10 years. Mm-hmm. And I was laying on the couch one day watching the Masters golf tournament. I'm a big, lifelong golfer. And I noticed everybody coming up, and they were choking the heck out of the golf tournament. And I said, that seems to be the human condition. Most people get up to the biggest moments in their lives, and they're so nervous, they screw it up. So it'd be wonderful to have somebody that played golf that had no fear of golf, period. He played golf for just as a game, not as a reflection on his worth as a person. And a lot of golfers take it that way.
Yeah.
So basically a thought comes into my head, and then it just kind of sits there and hibernates for a while. And over a period of weeks to a month or two, every now and then I'll have a little blurb thing come in my mind and go, oh yeah, that could go in a book. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that could go in a book. And then finally, I had always promised my mother I'd write a book. And sadly, I didn't get going till she died.
Oh.
So I wrote this book, and the first book I did is called Tour of Dreams, and it's a golf book. And it is centered around a character who is by far the greatest golfer there's ever been. He has a special gift from God. He knows he has a special gift. He doesn't feel that he was given it to make a fortune off it. So he never follows it. He never played top-level amateur golf, pro golf. He had other things to do in life.
When you create this character, he's the best golfer in the world. Do you have this thought in mind that he's a Tiger Woods, he's a Jack Nicklaus, he's a Bobby Jones? No. He never plays with a full set of clubs. Interesting.
He never plays for a score. He's never played for a score in his life. Every shot he hits, he's trying for his career shot.
Yeah.
So he expects to fail every shot. So he says, hey, I have nowhere to go but uphill because I expect to fail. So he doesn't care. He's so good, he's bouncing stuff off trees, off bridges. There was an old pro in Canada called Mo Norman, who was a golf savant.
Mm-hmm.
He hit 700 drives in a matter of like 2 hours, and they were all within 5 yards of one another.
Wow.
I mean, he'd tee off with an 8-iron, hit a driver from the fairway off a bridge and put it on the green. I mean, it's just beyond belief things. Well, that's this guy. So to him, it's strictly a game. And, there's enough garbage going on in the world with people having problems. When I write a book, I don't want to write about misfits.
Yeah.
I write about people that what I believe people can identify with, they want to identify with, have the highest morals and character. And such as this character, he forms a medical services company, and they end up winning the Nobel Prize for contributions to humanity over the years. So, I mean, there's bigger stories. This is a story about life that just happens to take place on the greatest Masters golf tournament ever. And so but what surprises me is I've given this to maybe 50 of my friends.
Mm-hmm.
I get zero feedback. And I tell them, I don't care if you tell me it's the biggest piece of garbage you've ever read.
Yeah.
Just give me some feedback. Did you connect with the characters? That's all I care about. And
what's the character's name?
Jared.
Jared?
Yes.
Okay.
My characters are all picked from people I know.
I was going to ask you that because a friend of mine wrote a book, lives in Oregon, and he wrote a book, and my name is in the book as the chief investigator. And he goes, yeah, I just choose names of people I know, and in honor of them.
Okay, well, this is funny. So, I have a good friend, probably the best golfer that there was in Mansfield. He won the senior title a couple of years, and he was a dentist, best dentist I've ever seen. He's moved out of the area. Well, we used to razz each other pretty good. So he was giving me a hard time one day, and I said, hey, I'm writing another book, and it's about about some military people, and there's a pedophile in that book, and I think I'm going to name him. And I gave him his name.
Oh, no.
And his face kind of went ashen. And about 3-4 days later, he came up to me and he said, well, now, Pete, you do realize besides being a dentist, I'm also a minister. So that really wouldn't go for too good. So I just laughed. I said, I was just kidding you anyway. But, so you could play games with. But, I have the little guy, in fact, in Tour of Dreams is named after my first great-grandson.
Oh, wow.
So I gave him a copy. He said, you might want to read this because you're a big part of the book. And I don't think he's read it.
Yeah.
So, but
your books are fictional.
Yes, totally fictional.
What's the inspiration behind this? You mentioned you were sitting watching the Masters one day. It takes a lot of imagination to write a fictional book.
Yeah, but that's just it. To me, it comes easy. The book I'm currently writing, I've been thinking about it for 3 or 4 months, and I've got like the first quarter done, and I couldn't finish out how to get from the first quarter to the end. I don't worry about it. I don't dwell on it. I just put it aside and say, when it comes, it comes.
Yeah.
And maybe, I think it was last weekend, not the week before last, I'm watching TV, something totally different, and all of a sudden, you've heard of songwriters where a song just comes out of the blue and they write this hit song in 15 minutes?
I think of Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys.
Right.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, my book, fell right in front of my eyes, and I saw everything all the way to the finish. And I mean, I'll be very blunt. To me, it was a paranormal experience. I said, I know I didn't think of that. So it's just something that comes there.
Is it where you sit down in front of the computer and there's an old line from a song about the guitar, and The statement is, I don't know who's playing who. Is the guitar playing me, or is the player playing the guitar? There was a connection. So is there a connection with the computer where all of a sudden your fingers are just typing away? You don't know, is the computer playing you, or are you playing the computer?
Yeah, it's something like that. But what's crazy is I'll just sit down and say, okay, I'm going to write 10 pages right now, and I'll come up with some idea. And then tomorrow or next week, I go, oh crap, I got another idea that I have to put in there. But if I put that in there, I've got to change everything in the front of the book to fit in that timeline. So I probably go over a book, I'd say 50 to 70 times. Yeah. And I don't care how good a book is. You read something 50 to 70 times, you get pretty sick of it by the time you're getting done. But it's all interesting. Yeah, and as you pull something out, here's a good example. In this book here, Tour of Dreams. Like I said, it's a story of life. And it's called Tour of Dreams because he does not want to be a pro golfer, but he made a promise to his family, his parents and his wife, that he would go on the senior tour for a couple of years just to show people what he could do. And then he gets a special invitation to the Masters. So he says, yeah, I'll play in the Masters, but I won't be in the tournament. I'll just be an honored guest. Okay. Because I'm going to be doing things that, well, when he goes there, magical things happen. But he picks people from the crowd to be his quote unquote caddy for the week. Okay. And it's kind of like Make-A-Wish Foundation. They cannot be a golfer for some reason, but he gives them the thrill of being a pro golfer for 1 week. And he picks a little kid that has a medical condition. And it's their connection through the whole 2 weeks that makes the story. I mean, the golf is so over the top. I had one good golfer come back and said, Pete, I couldn't get into it because your golf was just too extreme. It was ridiculous. I said, did you read the title? It's Tour of Dreams. And golf, and to most golfers, Augusta's a magical place for us anyway.
Absolutely. It's the Mecca.
And I said, I just took it to a new level, to a crazy new level. But somebody who's into it will be laughing their head off. And so that's one book. I did a second book.
Hall of Heroes.
Hall of Heroes. And Hall of Heroes, I come from a military family, a military background. And I wanted to write, and I don't think people understand the military. Let me give you a good example of that. Yeah. I went through the Naval Academy, and one of my classmates became SINCPAC or COMPAC. He was head of all military forces in the Pacific.
Wow. Okay.
4-star. Prior to that, he was head of Central Command, which is head of all airspace over America. Direct contact with the president. I mean, this guy, he's in the biggest circles ever.
Big time.
And he's given us a talk at one of our 50-year reunion or something. And he says, I still don't think America quite understands the military, Pete. He says, I come from a family of 5 kids up in Ohio. And to this day, people are asking my mom weekly, what are your kids doing? She says, well, Jerry's still in the Navy. He's now a full admiral. And Betty's in teaching and Jimmy's in construction and so and so and so and so. And almost to a person, they say, oh, Timmy's still in the Navy and you had such high hopes for him. And he says, what the hell's with these people? Do they think I swap decks all day?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm talking to so it's just amazing. And I find it very, very disturbing that America has such to me, a disdain for the military. Yeah, they cheer when the flyovers happen.
Yeah.
They think of them 1 day a year on Memorial Day, 2 days a year on Veterans Day. But other than that, they don't think. I am a firm believer we should be like Israel. Everybody serves 2 years in the military. Not so much to learn about military things, but because and you're always going to start at the bottom. You're going to be the bottom enlisted man.
Sure.
And it gives you a view. I think anybody who's going to be a CEO or a government official, any elected official, you should know what the bottom guy's feeling like instead of just having the view from the top looking down.
Just the discipline that you learned from.
Exactly. I was very lucky. I was a platoon commander at the OCS, Officer Candidate School. And so I was directing the drill sergeants, and most of them were coming from Parris Island or San Diego for the Marine Corps. And these guys you can't say enough good things about them. They're phenomenal. And I had to throw them out of the barracks just to go home. I said, you got a family you got to worry about as well as these troops. And just what they give is just amazing to me. And everybody should try to be like them. We had more pieces of garbage that they're telling me about that come in and want to become a Marine.
Yeah.
You get a lot of, when I was actually back in the late 60s, early 70s, I think when I was in Okinawa, I wouldn't think more than 30% of my people could read. That's how bad off we were, because it was, do you want to go to jail or are you going to join the military?
Right.
Well, I'll join the military. And what do you want to join? I'm going to join the Marine Corps because they're tough. And I remember I was so frustrated at times. I says, what the hell did I join the Marines for? I'm babysitting these guys. Why didn't I join the Air Force? They get all the smart ones. So, they just, but the ones you see, the most fulfilling thing in the world is to see a young man come in who's just a punk piece of trash. And all of a sudden, the light clicks on when he starts realizing what it takes to be a real man. And they change, and it's like a flower blooming. It's just unbelievable.
Attitude adjustment. And I think that's one of the first things they do, maybe even in recruitment, is tear down the mental attitude and rebuild it.
Exactly.
And
so, on my military book, just to show where I hope these books go, I've got Tour of Dreams in with the at Augusta National now, seeing if they would accept it for their merchandise mart for the Masters Golf Tournament. And I have contacted we have the Medal of Honor Museum opening up later next year,
right,
up in Arlington. And since my main character in this is a Medal of Honor winner who's pretty much given everything and lives in constant terrible pain, I'm hoping they would do that. And again, in that Hall of Heroes book, I'm very proud of that one. It's not a military Rambo type book.
Yeah,
it is a book that shows how I have the commanding officer and the commanding sergeant major, and it's how they care for their troops even after they retire. Because even though their men were all special forces who people think are superheroes, they said in reality they're all broken men.
Yeah,
because of what they had to do. So they're putting a facility in, and it caters to them to help them mentally, physically, to help their families, and it allows them to live in a community, not a cult, but a community where you're among people with similar values. Because in the world today, really, you just don't want to be surrounded with some of the different views that are out there. They can go their place, but these guys want to go where everybody's gone through what you went through, and they understand why you may be acting the way you are.
Sure.
We're getting better. And I'm very proud. I got my command sergeant major. This was funny. I look at the way blacks are portrayed in the media, on books, movies, and all that. And I still think back, I'm such an old timer. I think back to Shaft.
Yeah.
And, the big, that type of thing with the blacks. So my sergeant major, he was not going to be a Mandingo type character where he's just the biggest, toughest, roughest guy out there. So he becomes the world's greatest artist when he retires. And that was so much fun with the new way in painting that he would do and bronze work. And he's just a class act from start to finish that I think people that read it could easily say, I want to be like these people.
And this is one of the characters in the book.
He's the one of the two main characters.
One of the two main characters. In the book Tour of Dreams, you got Jared, who are the two main characters in Hall of Heroes.
Stan Dent is the general, and Derek Browning is the sergeant major. Derek was my UPS driver when I was in town here.
Interesting.
And he was a neat, really, really neat guy. And so I kind of honored him with that. And Stan Dent, I had an Uncle Stan who was I think he was a Navy diver, or he was in the armed forces.
Yeah.
So I just pick people that are out.
We're talking with the author of Tour of Dreams and Hall of Heroes. That would be author Pete Hermann, and we will pick up part 2 next week. In the meantime, this is the place where you will hear the latest Mansfield news, talk, and information. Until then, don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, share, love, engage, connect, amplify, elevate, celebrate, embrace, explore, support this podcast if you haven't already so you never miss an episode. It's free and it's easy. Just enter your email address on our website, aboutmansfield.com, right there on the homepage. We will never send you any spam. We promise.
About Mansfield is recorded at Podcast Mansfield Recording Studio. Hosts Steve Casillo and Colleen Daniel. Moment with the Mayor feature Michael Evans. Methodist Mansfield News to Know, Angel Biasatti. Mansfield Real Estate Market Update, Angela Hornburg. Cultural Arts Calendar, Tim Roberts. Cocktail of the Week, Brian Certain. Post-production editing, mixing, and mastering, Steve Casillo and Andrew Miner.
This podcast is copyrighted by Podcast Mansfield Recording Studio for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this podcast without written consent is prohibited. We thank you all for listening on behalf of the entire news team. I'm Steve Casillo, and this is About Mansfield.